All right. Today is June 27th, Saturday. So I want to start off the big news today. So Friday, the Texas Board of Education is now going to dictate what must be read in social studies and English throughout public schools in Texas, with the Bible being mandated as 12 of the books out of the 200 or so being read throughout a kid's. So, I mean, it's not much. It's, 5-6%, but still, when you're not leaving things up to teachers, Texas is just coming out and saying, hey, you guys are going to read these books. They're not leaving it up to the districts. They're not leaving it up to the teachers. We're going to tell you what to read, and it's going to be Bible stuff. So they have to read like the book of Job when they're later. There's a whole list of stuff. We're going to get to that. Yeah, so normally so this is what happened in Texas. The standards for the next few years are developed by, you get a group of working teachers and principals together and they develop it. So this is what happened. So then in 2022, because Texas is only in session every other year. So anyway, in 2022, a bunch of Texas teachers and principals got together and said, okay, for social studies and English, we recommend you do this. So the Republican Board of Education said it was too woke.
Too woke, huh?
It's too woke. So they threw that whole plan out and they came up with a list of books. I looked over it. I mean, the list of books wasn't bad, but now they say, well, no, we have to infuse Judeo-Christianity into the whole curriculum for social studies because students need this. I mean, honestly speaking, students are on their phones most of the time. They don't really give a fuck they're not going to read it anyway. So, I mean, I don't know if it matters, but it is just kind of curious what they're going to do.
I think it's another way for the Republicans to hold other people accountable for their kids' own morals. They don't want to admit that they're raising these fucked up kids, so they're gonna throw it.
That's a good point.
They're throwing it on the school system.
Yeah.
To say, hey, help me raise my screwed up kid. If you want to teach them morals, teach them at home. Teach them the Bible.
Right.
At home.
Yeah. They need it. Yeah. You know what? My kid's fucked up because my kid is like selling heroin or whatever because he didn't learn about the Bible. That's why he's messed up. Or I don't know so check this out. Let me give you some details. This is what they said. We want to focus on heroes like George Washington or Harriet Tubman. I got no problem with that. But let's get rid of the references to the Ku Klux Klan and emphasize the dangers of communism. And they're going to remove the sections about slavery was due to race. So they said we don't want any mention of slavery based upon race.
Trying to wash their hands clean of all the bad shit they did in the past.
Right. And racial segregation. So they're gonna get rid of racial segregation.
That didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was a big.
Well,
it was a big oopsie. We didn't mean it.
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you just get rid of the history of racial segregation?
That's what happens when you vote in a racist as president. It's all trickling down from what he wants, and he wants to whitewash the American history and what minorities went through by rewriting
his way back into it. The corruption's too thick. I just am looking forward to Billy Graham being in our textbooks in Texas. That's gonna be great.
Jeez.
Like a whole chapter on Pastor Billy Graham. Oh my God. God help Texas. Oh my God. But the silver lining is kids don't read books anyway. Like, they just go to school, get a Chromebook. I don't think it'll hurt anything because the schools are I think we're 40th in the country. So kids aren't learning anyway. I mean, I think we should really focus on getting up out of 40th because that's bad. Look, Mississippi is number 1 or 2. They spend less per capita on students than we do in Texas, and they're like 1 or 2. Why can't we learn from them? Huh? Why? Instead, we're putting Billy Graham in textbooks and teaching about Job. When you guys are still, why shouldn't number 40 be higher on your list? Texas, I feel better.
I think this Bible thing
is not doing a
history, basically.
Well, I will say that now John Cornyn has apparently developed a backbone.
Oh yeah,
after Trump screwed him in his primary against the criminal Paxton, we will talk about that in a minute.
He's going to try to do as much damage to Trump before he
leaves office. He is. That's exactly what he's happening now. So, because Trump is trying to pass the say that. So, as you guys know, there was a huge bipartisan effort to pass the Housing Act, which is going to try and increase the level of housing and apartments in America to bring the price down and to limit corporations from buying up all the stock and just crushing through the cities. So Trump said, yeah, it's a good bill, but I'm not going to sign it unless they pass the SAVE Act, which is allowing, it's central, they can talk about IDs and all that nonsense. Nobody gives a shit. What they're talking about is centralizing the counting of the votes in DC. So what kind of dumb motherfucker is going to trust Stephen Miller to count the votes? Like, what? Are us Democrats, like, retarded? Like, we're going to let Stephen Miller or some dickhead in DC count the votes? Please. We got decentralized counting. That's how it was set up by the founders because they knew this bullshit from some dickhead was going to happen. 250 years later, you know what? We had Nixon. Now we got an even worse dickhead. So we've had 2 dickheads in 250 years. It's not bad. So I can't complain.
Well, they're doing that because they're stopping this because he knows that they're going to lose the midterms and he doesn't want to get indicted on these corruption cases that the Congress and the Senate are going to forge against him if he loses the House and the Senate. So that's the only reason he's doing this.
Yeah,
to try to prevent people from voting. I don't think it's going to happen.
Nah. Yeah, no. He's desperate to pass the SAVE Act so he can count the votes. And look, this idiot has a decades history of wanting to tamper with vote. This fat bozo was caught on the phone trying to Raffensperger in Georgia, hey, give me some votes. So yeah, hold on. One last thing that the Texas Board of Education wants to incorporate into. So they said they want to incorporate sections from the pastor Billy Graham, and we need to stress the negative impacts of divorce.
I think people already know it's a negative thing.
Right. Guys, like, who doesn't know divorce is negative?
Oh, like, there's people out there, I love, of course it's a bad.
And you know what? I have a lot of Republican friends and I like them, but guys, this is the Department of Ed that you want.
Coming from a president who's been divorced 3 times, twice, and cheated on all his wives.
No, this is the state of Texas. So
no, I know, but it's all trickled down from this bozo based on, what he wants.
So, and we are proud of James Tallarico. This guy, he didn't run a harsh campaign. He was like
Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah, Tallarico's not doing a Beto. He learned that lesson. So he's coming out hard. So apparently about, 4 years ago or so, a child molester who was really got caught like just repeatedly assaulting this child. And he was an attorney in Texas, and he cut a deal with Paxton's office. So Tallarico's latest commercial is coming out saying that this is the Epstein Files case of Texas because Paxton won't talk about it. So a reporter confronted Paxton while he was walking to a hotel, and he didn't say a word. He said nothing.
Oh yeah.
He's like, Mr. Paxton, how did you let this guy off for 30 days of jail? 30 days of jail for repeatedly sexually assaulting a child. And strangely enough, Paxton's office won't release the files. Strangely enough.
Yeah, so what I wanted to bring up was this whole thing with the reflecting pool and how they're arresting people for supposedly vandalizing the reflecting pool. Like someone went in there, cut it up with a knife, even though there's jagged edges all over the pieces throughout the whole thing is just coming up on its own because they did a sorry job. That's what I wanted to talk about was the blindness to, that people are believing this shit. It's like unbelievable anyway.
Yeah, I don't understand why Fox News people can only believe Fox News. Like, how can you guys only believe Fox News? For instance, Trump is trying to purport the only reason this pool failed was because of sabotage. Not because the dumb fat fuck gave a sole source contract to his friend. So, you have a fat fuck giving a sole source contract to his friend, or you have the stuff just incompetent performance, a sole source contract giving to a guy who spread truck bed liner on the bottom of a pool. Which do you think is going to weigh more? Which is going to, people, you know what? I'm almost wanting to leave or think we should separate the countries. That's probably heresy. I guess that's too far, but these people are so dumb. Have you ever talked to people that are so dumb you can't reason with them? That's how I feel with a lot of MAGA people.
Well, you know, it's just like I said. They're so blinded. They're too far. Not piss them off. That way we can start lowering prices again and get us out of this Iran war, which we're not going to be able to get out of it. It's not like Iran is going to forget about what we did to them. You know,
I think we can get out. If Trump can control Israel, I think we can get out of this war. But I don't. Trump is not willing to use a stick. Like he's a pussy. He does not want to use what the force needed to force Israel to do the right thing. He can't do it. Just like he can't confront Putin. So these are the weaknesses to tell Israel, look, stop jacking around in Lebanon. Just, go by the peace deal.
He don't want to do three. There's a reason why he's not doing it, and I think it's because he's waging different monies on the price of oil going up and down for his corruption purpose.
I think Trump honestly wants a deal because he knows if oil stays high, that's it. There's no way he can win. Yeah. So he desperately wants peace. He really does.
For the wrong reasons.
Though. Well, yeah, he doesn't want to be impeached, and we're going to impeach him. Trust me. We just watched Raskin, the congressman on TV. He goes, "Oh, we're going to investigate. We're going to investigate those guys from sun up till sundown." So dumbass Trump comes out and he says, "Well, I don't know if I want to renew the Mexican-Canadian trade agreement with us because we don't need Canada anymore." Which is, he's just saying that because his feelings are, because the Prime Minister of Canada hurt his feelings, told him we can't have their country.
Can't get nothing out of a person. Can't extort them.
Well, he wanted Canada. And then the Prime Minister of Canada called him an idiot, which he is, and said, "No, we're our own country, dumbass. You can't just have us." So his feelings are hurt, so now he wants to tear up an agreement, just like he tore up the Iranian agreement, which is why we're in this mess. Now he wants to tear up a trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. Oh, that's real smart. That's just so smart. 2 more years. Like 2.5 more years.
I don't know what's going to be left after 2.5 more years. Everything's going to be so jacked up. Whenever he's going to be doing, or he or she is going to be doing.
Well, yeah, we need to spend like the first year just tearing all this junk down. So for instance, Big Bend is kind of like Yellowstone National Park for Texas. It's this enormous park on the border in West Texas between Mexico and Texas, and it's on, like, every Texan has Big Bend on their bucket list. It's like the place you want to go. Like, it's got these huge cliffs with the scenic Rio Grande River where it's clean and flowing through this park. So what does Trump want to do now? He wants to build a huge wall through the middle of Big Bend Park. So let me play this out for you. This is not in East Texas. This is in West Texas with hundreds of miles of desert. So no coyotes or drug dealers are going to walk 200 miles through the desert through this park. But we have to build a wall because this demented orange idiot who farts all day and falls asleep says so. That's where we are.
In a nutshell, again, think about how you're going to vote this November, and I think some people are coming to...
Well, no, I don't think necessarily. I don't. It's like you said with the pot. So, for instance, Friday they said 4 million people had to step out of Obamacare because they lost their subsidies and couldn't pay the standard $1,300 a month. $1,300 a month. So let's say 40% of those let's say 50%, 2 million Republicans just lost their health insurance because we'd rather spend money on what? Bombing Iran for a deal we already had with them? Oh. Look, Trump's approval rating is at a record low. I
think it's at 30% now.
No, on average, I'm probably in the high 30s. But still, that leaves just the MAGA base. He's just got the MAGA base. Yeah. So people, the middle's gone. He needs gas prices to come. I don't think he can lie. School is not going to make your kid better. You need to do that at your house. Stop being lazy.
That's why you go to Sunday school.
Right. Go to Sunday school, whatever, man. Go to Buddha school, but do your own thing. Stop jacking with the schools. Focus on getting them out of 40.
Yep.
Like and subscribe. Oh, and check out Legal Shield down below. I'm going to put a link. For $30 a month, you can talk to a lawyer as much as you want, get coverage. So if you protest a lot, you're covered. Help us out. We're broke.
See ya.
See you later, people. Thank you.